Time to get in the zone. Auto Zone.
All right, so let's start off with this accessory set. Let's see, came in at what, 46 something? I couldn't really tell. I'm sorry about that, but they have the extension universal set. They have Allen, Torx, Tamper Torx, E-Torx socket set here. Prices look fairly reasonable, a little bit higher, obviously, than Harbor Freight, even a little bit higher than Home Depot from what it was that I saw. Quality-wise, I'd compare them to a Husky. Collapsible trays, $19.99. Some other little things here. I'm not sure about this plastic ratchet thing, but I guess some people like the composite styles. Individual wrenches, from what I saw, anywhere between about $7 and up to about $14-20. So definitely a few more dollars more expensive than Home Depot. Some of their combination wrench sets, I think a little bit higher than Home Depot as well. But they had some pretty cool shears here, some weird and different design style of box end wrenches, smaller combination wrench sets. They had their own variation of pliers, tongue and groove, slip joint, long needle nose, 45, 90 degree, crescent wrench, pry bars that you can pick up one at a time. Again, I think they're really good quality. Here's a smaller screwdriver set that include the stubbies for $20, so that seems like a pretty good deal. Or you can pay almost 10 for one of them, you see what I'm saying? So like that, you got to look around and see what they got going on. You get an idea. Individual sockets, again, probably like the individual wrenches, about a couple dollars north from their cheapest one to a couple dollars higher for the more expensive ones. They did have something similar to that Husky one. Unfortunately, this was not a flex head. I like the flex head style better. Here's a flex head, kind of a standardized length. I'm kind of stuck on that Husky one. But they do have some ratchets here. I was surprised I didn't see any comfort grip ones. You'd think that by now they probably would have done a comfort grip. Okay, here's a 265-piece mechanic set. So this one, I'm like, okay, it's a pretty good little legit set for what looks like a pretty good deal. $180, you get quite a bit in there. $180. Again, dude, that seems like a pretty nice set to me. And then they had some other ones that are about 180, 160, 150 that were smaller sets. So you're looking for a nice mechanic set, not bad. Here's another one. If you just want a 1/4-inch socket for the back of your trunk, $40, okay? Pretty good deal. They had some impact sockets on rails, quite similar to like we've seen with others, like Home Depot and over at Harbor Freight. They have these things on rails for you guys. Torx, Tamper Torx, E-Torx, deep, shallow, SAE, metric, thin wall. I mean, you name it, they pretty much got it there for you. And like I said, the quality's actually pretty decent. Like I ran with these things for a while when I was younger. I also like the fact that they have some heavy knurling, or they have knurling, I should say. I don't know how heavy it is nowadays, but back in the day, it was quite heavy. They also have some like, what is this, Built, some like their cheaper brand stuff that didn't really seem like it was that much more cheaper than the Duralast, to be honest. So for that, I'd still lean towards Duralast. They had some individual specialty tools here, some hooks, some picks, some quick disconnects, some seal pullers, some snap ring pliers. They had the long reach pick set. This looked pretty nice. I see the radiator hose to the right here, the radiator hose hooked to the right of it. Pretty good deal. Piston collapsers. Here's some quick disconnects for fuel and AC work. You know, you're just kind of looking around right with me. We're just checking things out here. Looks like they had some interior trim tool stuff, some suspension forks, again, some E-Torx and some other individual shallow sets, extractor sets, okay, $40, not a bad deal for a deep extractor set. Then they had the shallow ones as well. I think one set was supposed to be metric and one is SAE, or a mixture of both, and they just had two of them there. You have some veneer calipers, some hose cutters, and then we're getting into bottle jacks, floor jacks, jack stands. I've utilized their jack stands for years. Love the quality of them. Love the color. Again, favorite color blue, okay, so you can see why I'm supporting this whole Duralast idea. Love the colors. Blue and black works for me. Nice little 3-drawer sit-down stool. They had some other stools here if you're doing alignments and you want your own personal stool. Electric tools, they had a handful there. Pretty reasonably priced for their electric stuff. Here's some of those cable cutters. 42 seems a little bit high. I think you can get some better ones, maybe even buy Klein over at the depot. And then here's some small nippers. So test lights, they got test lights. These are things that you should be looking at if you're considering like adding little bits here and there, especially in the battery section. They have some battery tools. When you first start off as a lube tech, you're going to need those. Jump packs, you're going to find these things are worth their weight in gold. They have the NOCO ones there for sale. Everybody loves the NOCO. I think we started really kind of learning about them off of Gearinch Jeff's truck. A lot of the guys at the independent shop have these things as well as the dealership. So go check them out. I was actually happy to see that for on the go, on the fly, you don't have your tools with you, that for like 15 to 20 bucks, you can get like a 1/4 inch set or a 1/4 inch, 3/8 and 1/2 inch mix set here on the cheap and on the fly. So I like that. Thanks, AutoZone.
Yeah, so even some good deals over here at AutoZone. And I like the fact that, like, hey, look, man, you just need to take something apart really quick and you don't have the money for these, you know, $100 tool sets, or you don't have any interest in buying one on the go for like, what was it, 15, 20 bucks? You got it. So is Duralast built to last, or is it built to fail? Through my experience from the past, they were built to last. They're a pretty decent tool, fairly priced, fair, okay? Not the cheapest of the cheap, certainly not the most expensive of the most expensive. Is it something that I think that you can build on and work around? Absolutely. If you're missing a particular size, or the mechanic set that you got only goes up to a certain size and you'd like to add to it for a little bit bigger and bigger until you fill in the rest of your spots, because I know a lot of guys really like having the rack that they get complete. They love having that complete rack. I mean, I don't know, maybe you're one of those guys, right? But having just a complete rack of every single size, just in case just in case you need it and you're glad that you have it, it's there. So look for that. They have them individually sold. I say this because we talked about it over at the Home Depot. We talked about it, about not really being a thing over at Harbor Freight, but you see that over at O'Reilly's and you see that over at AutoZone. You can individually pick some of these sockets up and add to it. I know that there's a very specific OCD, I think, when it comes for most mechanics when it comes to their tools, meaning that they would prefer to have whatever set they have by the same exact brand. There's other mechanics that would prefer to have a mixture of tools that they were able to get for fairly reasonably priced, and it doesn't really matter which brand it is that fits in there. But for those with OCD that want to have a particular set all within the same exact brand that they can easily interchange, because mind you, the warranty is really easy over at these auto parts stores. You walk in with a split socket. If they have one hanging, they give it to you. If not, they order it. So fairly easy, fairly straightforward. I believe that that $180 mechanic set over there at AutoZone is an incredibly good deal. Look, I even thought about it myself. If I feel like, yes, the fire is starting to reignite. I feel like the more and more I'm wrenching again, and the more and more I'm filming and looking at stuff again, the more and more I'm motivated I'm getting to possibly, you know, work my way back into it. You know, I'm humbling myself at the moment with working at the tire and lube shop. I am very strongly considering getting back into the dealer life. And I think that, look, at the house, because my car is fairly old and it needs some repairs and stuff like that, look, I'd like to have a set here at the house. I obviously know that if I do become a dealer tech, I'm gonna have to put some tools together here pretty soon. Yes, I have a mechanic set right there above me that's gonna cover pretty much anything and everything that I'm gonna need, I feel like, as a dealer tech. So for that, that is my most complete set. Most likely that is the set that I would take with me if I got hired as a dealer tech again. Plus, I would put together everything else. As far as the toolbox goes right now, I looked at a lot of the comments. I totally agree with you. It was just a thought, okay? It was just a thought. It was me trying to figure out what could I actually do with this. I'm starting to figure it out. It was my career/retirement box, you know what I mean? I think for right now, a lot of you, you're absolutely right. I should just kind of stay steady, see how things continue to go here where I'm at. You know, maybe put some more pokers in the fire and start filling out some applications for distances a little bit further away now that my transportational issues have been fixed, which, let's be honest, not having transportation that's been sufficient to leave the area has restricted my employment. So
That's why it had taken me so long to try to find work available up here. Now that I know that I can actually get out of the area, I can migrate further away, and I have sufficient transportation. Yeah, there's still a few things on it that I need to take care of, like the pump is like weeping, and I know that. So eventually I'll be changing out the power steering pump. That would probably be a quick little DIY video that I think I can get away with doing here in the front of my house. I did have a lot of people reach out to me through the comments and ask, why don't I do mechanic work here in front of my house? There are HOA policies and rental agreement things that I have with the rental agency where I'm not allowed to work on cars in my driveway. I have talked with the rental property person. She knows that like I've been a mechanic for a long time. And she said, look, you know, if it's something fairly quick, we're gonna turn a blind eye, but please don't make it a habit of having other people's cars in your driveway and stuff like that. But if it's something that you gotta do for yourself, that's fine. Just please don't have a car like up on jack stands or anything like that, because we have policies and agreements, and we would have to evict you if, you know, you broke these policies and agreements. And I said, yep, understandable. So, you know, doing a quick oil change or swapping out a belt or changing out a pump real quick, those things are pretty quick, but it's not like I'm gonna be able to like rack people's cars up and just start doing work in front of the house. That's a no-go. That would get us in trouble, and that's not conducive to our lifestyle right now. But at any rate, I also had somebody else on here that for Father's Day, he was saying that it would be a pretty relaxed day, that he's gonna clean up his tools and kind of just go through them. And I'm like, you know what, that sounds like a great day. That sounds like a relaxing time. I got some of these wipes, this tub of wipes. I think maybe I'll start going through my tools and maybe jam out to some country music on Father's Day. And I've had an enjoyable day so far. We were able to go to Home Depot and AutoZone and check some stuff out. But just real quick to wrap up the AutoZone thing, if I'm taking these to work, like if I'm gonna be utilizing that set to wrench with, yeah, I'm gonna need some sockets here. So I think a quick little mechanic set like that for 180 bucks seems pretty reasonable. So if I had something like that, I'd be styling. You don't really need a whole bunch for like tiny repairs in your car. So something like that is absolutely doable if you're considering it and you're a mechanic, rather than having to, I've seen guys take bags of tools to and from work all the time because they're trying to maintain their car just so they can get to and from, and it's a little bit of a hassle, isn't it? I know, it is, because you want to leave the majority of your stuff at work, and it sucks bagging stuff up and taking it to and from your car and then remembering to bring it all back the next day for work. I totally get it. So if you're thinking about just having a quick little mechanic set for on the go, check out AutoZone. Pretty good deal. That's if you're asking me. That's all I got for now. We'll see you guys next time. Cheers and deuces. Happy Father's Day.